everyone. So today I'm going to explain about my cell policy document, and I make the policy document about how to assist students with mental health to help them cope with their issue. And in this policy document, I provide some policy statement as well as the procedure to help the students with mental health issue to cope with their problem. So here is my policy document. The title is Students' Mental Health Intervention Policy. And of course, the first is what is the purpose of this self policy is about to provide a clear guideline about how to address students' mental health issue in higher education. So as a matter of fact, during the pandemic, there are a lot of students who suffer from mental health issue just because they are feel bored and so stressed during the online class mechanism. So we provide this self policy document to help them assist or to cope with the mental health issue by providing standard and consistency and eligibility from this cell policy document. And the scope of this policy document is, of course, is related indirectly to the students, teachers, and school principal. Besides, it also aligned with health professionals such as a psychologist and a practitioner. And the main content of this cell policy is cell policy statement itself. So we separated this policy statement into three. They are for institutions, teachers, and students. And for the institutions, because at first we aim to strengthen the program to university for addressing this mental health issue among students. So there are several statements for this policy. The first is Rainbow University will facilitate and undertake activities to maintain students' mental health issue. And the second is Rainbow University ensures that students have sufficient access to psychological counseling as the first aid when dealing with mental health attack. And the third statement is Rainbow University promotes mindfulness and motivational training to help students shape their positive behavior. And the last statement is Rainbow University will foster the continuity of mental health promotion to make sure that school members are mentally healthy. Meanwhile, for teachers, because we aim to improve the teachers' capacity to provide fun and enjoyable learning activities. So here, several statements for the policy in regards to teachers. The first is teacher at Rainbow University apply a supportive teaching environment in the class by providing attractive learning online methods. And the second, teachers at Rainbow University enhance students' participations by involving them in every single activity to improve engagement. And the last is teachers at Rainbow University ensures that students are connected with their peers and teachers outside the class. Meanwhile, for the students, because we expected that students at Rainbow University are encouraged to build both self-regulations and self-resilience. So there are two main statements for the students. The first is we need to make sure that students contribute directly to help themselves in dealing with mental health issue, because we know that mental health issue is closely related of individuals. So we need also the contribution for students to help to reduce this impact of the issue. And then students at Rainbow University establish self-planning and conduct variety activities to avoid burnout related remote learning mechanism. And the next about the procedure. Of course, for the implementation of this policy, we need the procedure. So we divided the procedure into three steps. The first step is introducing policy. So of course, before this policy is implemented, we need to socialize about the content of this policy to the whole school member to avoid misunderstanding. And then the second step is implementing the policies. So here we provide some detailed explanations about how to implement the policy. For example, the students with mental health issues should report themselves to the university and confirm their conditions. and it will then make the university direct the students from the portal to connect it with psychological counselors. So the mechanism is like that. And then after the students connected with psychology, they will of course have the personal consultations. And besides having the personal consultations, all school will follow mindfulness and motivation training to prevent burnout during the pandemic. And this training will be conducted each month. So the students have to make sure and check the website regularly to see their schedule. And the last step is evaluating policy. Of course, in this stage, the policy will be reviewed to measure the effectiveness of current strategy. So it's also aimed to make sure that school member implements this policy in proper way. The next is who is in charge for administrators for social policy compliance, and we will point it the staff from student support and well-being divisions. It also true for the policy implementations. Meanwhile, for the policy review, we will point it the staff from university administrator for review this policy by considering some feedback, suggestions, and reflections from the other policy implementation. And for the approval authority, of course, we need the eligibility from university principal. So all of things related to the policy should get the approval from the university principal. And the last is management of policy record. So to access this policy, people need to visit the university website or directly go to the well-being staff in the second floor of the university building, because this policy is provided in both digital and printed version. And the next is the references. You can see that there are a lot of references that I use to construct this policy document. And then for the adoption date, this policy will be reviewed each year. So this policy was adopted on 22 October 2021. So it will be reviewed on 22 October next year. And this is the contact detail of the university, students administrator division, and student support and well-being division. So if the students want to address this policy document, they can get the contact from this. And the next is appendix. This is the organization structure of the university. And then the last one is the screenshot on model post. Okay, so that's all my policy document. I hope that this policy document will help the students with mental health to help them in addressing their issue.